Hello and welcome to Talking Leeds, episode 16 of this show, George. Now then, Leeds United is the title. Now then, George, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. How are we, sir?
Yeah, good evening, and good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever the time is you're listening and watching it. I mean, it's evening for us here, isn't it? I'm okay, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm very good. Now then, I'm very good, George. Now then. Leeds United, George.
Now then, how's
Now
about
then,
that then?
I didn't know what to think of anything really, but now then, Leeds are top of the table currently by a couple of points over Sheffield United. But now then, George, there's a 3-point gap. Good evening to Richard, who's joined as well. Good evening.
Good evening, Richard.
Yes. George, you were there yesterday. Middlesbrough at home, 3-1 winners as well. I'll plug this as well. Don't forget, match reaction with myself and Jerry will be hitting your live kind of pod updates at 9 o'clock this evening. So that's one for you to look out for. But George, Leeds top of the tree, 3 points clear with third place Burnley. Now then, it's time to get excited, isn't it? Are we going up? Are you far in or far out still?
Well, I mean, look, initially, you've got a back-to-back situation, haven't you, Aaron, where you're doing it with Jerry out straight after this. So, you can stay on, everybody, and listen to the lads talk about the game yesterday. But yeah, look, exciting stuff, Aaron, exciting stuff. In or out with the manager, who cares at this moment? As long as we're winning football games, I don't give a toss who the manager is. I felt yesterday, obviously, I was at the game. I know you didn't go, but for me, very exciting situation for me to go. I haven't been able to go, and I can't at the moment for various different reasons. But I was able to go last night. Shout out to my dad's friend Ian, who sorted out tickets for me and my brother, and we got to go, and it was great. I really miss Ellen Road, Aaron. I love it. It's just, everything, nothing else matters when you're there, you know what I mean? But winning a game of football, and that's what you want, isn't it? For 90 minutes or the evening, everything else is put to the side, and you focus on the game, and that's exactly what we did yesterday. I really enjoyed it. I thought Leeds were well on top of Middlesbrough, actually. They really were, and they were, Middlesbrough, I thought were going to give a lot more than they did, actually. I thought they really would do.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a great result. And do you know what? Watching the game back, I've watched the whole 90 and I watched the second half live. What was impressive about that performance for me, George, and you'll catch this on the match reaction, I'll plug it again, was just Middlesbrough came and had a go at us. And I think that's probably the first time this season where a team has really come and had a go, even though didn't quite work out for them. Obviously, they got into the game with an own goal from Maxwell, which I think was unfortunate. It happens. But, for me, it's a real statement of intent, that. But I'm going to be a bit of a Scrooge here with the Christmas theme. It's only a good result if they can follow it up with the games against Preston and Stoke on Boxing Day, because there's two, I'd say, tricky away games coming up for Leeds. We've got to follow it up with a result against Preston on Saturday.
Yeah, this is a problem, man. This is exactly what I'm thinking as well, and it's exactly what I said last week, I think, before obviously we beat Derby and then Middlesbrough. But I think it's all good winning your home games. We know the form of Leeds United at Ellen Road is almost perfect. It's another completely different situation to go and win your away games, which Leeds United can't seem to do. Now, if we go and beat Preston, I know you say, no, go beat Preston. They're not in a good moment there. I think they play again tonight. I think they're not no win in about 10 games. So, you look at it and you think, but it's Leeds United, isn't it? And, but we need to go there and beat them. And not exactly beat them well, but have a good performance and beat them. Not exactly 5-0 or whatever. You've got to have a good performance and beat them. And then I will then start to get a little bit kind of like, hang on, I think we're in here maybe. But until we start getting a couple of wins away strung together.
Interesting what you said there, Josh, because looking at the fixtures in the Championship for Leeds, but also teams in and around us. Sheffield United play Millwall away this evening, and that's not an easy place to go to for Sheffield United, even though they'll probably sneak a 1-0 win. Obviously Neil Harris is now leaving there. It was confirmed, I think it was yesterday. He's confirmed to is leaving Millwall over the next couple of games or whatever. But I'm interested about Sheffield United because Sheffield United have got Millwall today, Plymouth at home, Cardiff away, and then they play Burnley on Boxing Day. One of them has to drop points, and if Leeds pick up results for the next 2 games, let's not look at the Stoke game because they play later at 8 o'clock on Boxing Day to Leeds. But if they can get 6 points on the board from Preston, Oxford, they should destroy them. But then look at the Stoke City game away from home. There could be a real gap there.
Yeah, they could. I mean, Oxford is the one in the middle, isn't it, between those 2 away games, the home game, and like you said, they should have easily beat them. But look, like I said, until they start to string 2 or 3 away wins together, or form away from home, then I'm just a little bit reserved, really, because it's easy to win games at Ellen Road. I think Pascal Strauch, after one game recently, maybe it was a Luton match, came out and he actually said, we feel secure at home, which says to me, you don't feel secure away from home. And it's completely different way away from home, isn't it? And you just need to see them start winning games away from home, because I'm sick of them winning games at home and then losing, to no disrespect to teams like Blackburn, who have put together a really good run. And
we play them again, don't we, on New Year's Day?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, that, Aaron, because they've now won 5 in a row, including that one over us as well in that run as well. So, and they all seem to be 1-0. So it's going to be difficult at Preston. We know what happened there. This similar time, it was Boxing Day, wasn't it? Last year we played them and lost there. I think we should win this game pretty comfortably, but then again, we should win most of the games away. But this is another level to me. Like the Swansea game, they're doing all right. All right, we won. It wasn't convincing. The Blackburn one was obviously disappointing. But again, they're like upper echelon to the league. Preston are right towards the bottom, Aaron. They're on a horrific run. Even if they win tonight, they're on a horrendous run of form. You know, I know the manager's Heckingbottom. He'll want it. It'll mean something to him, won't it? But yeah. I just feel like these are the teams, and it's a slightly easier. I know you say it's a hard run fixtures.
I would say they're tricky, because if you think back to last year, we struggled against them.
We lost both.
We did, and I even think back to when we played Preston at Ellen Road. We only just got over the line with that one, if I'm being honest. They made it very, very physical side, very difficult to break down. And I think it'll be exactly the same when we play Preston on Saturday. They will just sit back, Preston. And that is one thing which I think, when I look at Derby County when we played them on Saturday, honest to God, George, I'm not kidding you, and I'm not exaggerating here at all. But the way Derby was set up, the minute they lost the ball, they threw 10 men behind the ball. 10 men. 10 men, George. And they could not, it was really difficult to break down until when they scored the first goal, because it is difficult to play against that. They're just literally, come on, lads, asses up, back against the wall and just hope for the best. And that's all it was. And that is what the Championship is. And I think that's how difficult the Championship is this year, because people they come to Ellen Road or they come up against them, at home, the home ground, and they don't care. They're not bothered. Just defend. Goalkeepers have the game of their lives. I think the Middlesbrough goalkeeper last night played a great game.
That's interesting, because I thought it was absolutely crap, to be fair.
I thought, not obviously. It's role reversal here, George.
Yes. Usually I'm the one watching it.
It's a complete role reversal. But I think, Middlesbrough, for me, they look well organised. I think they'll definitely be up there in that top 6. And they, Sawyer Latte was quiet.
It was. He was really quiet, wasn't he, Latte? He barely got a kick. Yeah. For me, Aaron, I thought Middlesbrough were very, very ordinary, actually. And I see they went for us a little bit, but we started to really get a little bit complacent and a little bit worried at the back. There was a moment where Pascal Strauch just passed it out of play for a corner. There was a moment where Tanaka puts a really risky back pass to Melier that he had to deal with in the first half. And we looked a little bit nervy for some reason. But Doak on that right-hand side, he was the only one that really looked at it for me. The rest of them, very, very ordinary. And I think a lot of the time in the game, particularly first knockings of the second half, where obviously we conceded, our midfield was so open. It was open wide. It was just open wide. I don't know what Ao and Joe were doing, but they closed up. They had a good game generally, the pair of them. But for some reason, it seemed very, very open at stages in the early knockings of the second half, which obviously led to them getting the corner that led to the equalising goal. What I will say, Aaron, like I say, is role reversal. I'm usually the one watching it on the telly, and you're usually the one at the ground. But we were right next to the away fans where we were sitting, and they were so loud, obviously, when they scored. And then they were like that. It was quiet as a mouse in there as soon as we scored, and they started to file out. But I thought that they were quite good, actually, and as a away fan. There was a lot of them.
Yeah, I've done Middlesbrough away before. They're a good bunch up at the Riverside. But do you know what, George? I just want to say this as well, because I think it's important to say this for the record. I did not panic when Leeds when it was 1-1. I thought, you know what, Leeds are absolutely fine here. It happens in a game of football. And I just knew that Leeds would win it. Because the way they were set up, the way they were playing, the press was brilliant. I think the way Middlesbrough came at us, I think it suited us. Do you know, I can't fault it, George. For me, it was the best performance of the season so far. And I just want to say what Richard says here. He says, Borough, the best team we've played so far this season. I think they will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. And saying we need to go on that so-called run.
Yeah, they definitely will be, Aaron. They'll be thereabouts, yeah. But I just thought Leeds had the quality, and this is what I loved, because they just have the quality to even beat teams in the higher, stages of this division. They've just got the almost effortless quality, because it wasn't like Leeds stepped up a gear when they went 1-1. It was just like we were playing at the same sort of level and the same pace. But Middlesbrough just couldn't. We've got technically better players, really, and it just showed. And what I loved about that second goal is he missed the chance first. He should have scored. And like Jimbo says, thank you, mate, for liking that. He was buzzing to have the photo with me. And I think that's why he scored that goal, because he was so excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He was so excited. And I had a little word with him. I said, hey, Dan, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. You wrap your left foot round and you stick it in the top corner. And then he went and did it. So I was very happy for him. And he went and executed my instructions to perfection. But look, he was brilliant. He was brilliant, was Dan. You could see it in the first half, because he was down our side the first half. You could
listening to your words of wisdom.
That's it, shouting along with him. But come on, Dan, do that. What we discussed. But then look, he was the outlet. And you could see all day long. He had their left back. He had their left back all day long, really, and that was the way we were going to score. But I love that really crunching tackle from Byram to set up that second goal, and then Peru just slots it to the right hand side, and you knew he was going to score. You just knew he wasn't going to miss for a second time.
No, and I think, do you know what? The more I think about this now, and I'm thinking now with Leeds, they've got the quality, and a lot of pundits are saying this. They're well-rounded as a better team this season compared to last year, and I completely see that now, and I know that a lot of pundits are saying that this is Leeds to throw away. It really is. But as I say, the key thing now is going on that run. And what Richard said there, we've got to go on that. On paper, it looks good, but the game is not played on paper, says Richard, and I completely agree with that. We've just got to follow it up with a win, because two very good, dominant performances. That obviously would have been Derby, who were absolutely crap, and then obviously Middlesbrough, probably the better of the teams which have played at Ellen Road since. But do you know what? I absolutely can't fault them, George. They're doing the right thing, and importantly, we have this 3-point cushion over Burnley in third. And it's all right, yes, it's 3 points, but mentally, all you've got to do now is better Burnley's results, and you are up.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right to say, but I mean, that's we're in December. I mean, there's still 20,
I know.
There's still 20
there's
odd
many
games
more
to
to go. Of
but,
course, mentally, it's a 3-point gap when it comes to Boxing Day, because Burnley play Sheffield United. As I said earlier, they've got to, one of them's going to drop points there. Hopefully it will be Burnley, and hopefully we can follow it on with that result, which will go in our favour. We can kick on and absolutely destroy Stoke City on Boxing Day, and who knows, we could be 6, 7 or even 9 points clear. And that is what I want, just a nice cushion, George, because if it does go wrong for Leeds United, it does. Over the course of the season, there will be this, really bad run of form. We were unlucky last year when we lost to QPR 4-0, which threw away the automatic promotion hunts. We've got to get some form of cushion, and I'd rather have the cushion like what Ipswich and Leicester City did last year. They had that cushion at this stage last season, and they could just ease away, chip away, and that's all we need to do.
This is it. We're in a good position now. You forget, Aaron, I know there's still a lot of games to go, but we are creeping on with the season. At least that was the 20th game of the season. So we're not in the start of it now. This is
halfway point now.
Yeah, so this is how it's kind of going to go, I think. I think it's Stoke the halfway point on Boxing Day, but this is how the season looks now. It's going to be the 3 teams. I know Sunderland and that are going to keep tiptoeing up and down, but
Sunderland are falling. I know that they got a draw against Bristol City yesterday, but ultimately the top 2 for them is out of reach. It really is.
because the top 2 will keep winning. I'm with you. I don't really care if Sheffield United win games as long as we keep the bridge between us and Burnley there, then that's fine. And at the moment, it's fine. It's interesting to note as well, Aaron, that we swapped fixtures with Burnley over the last few days. We played Derby Saturday. They played Derby Tuesday. They played Borough Friday night, didn't they? We played Borough on last night. So, and we won them both, and they drew both.
Yeah.
So they can't seem to really score that many goals. Don't concede many, but generally look at their results. They're all 1-0 wins and 0-0 draws. They can't really seem to get any good form going, and we're just blowing teams away because it should have been more. It should have been more last night. They should. You said the goalkeeper. For me, he didn't look good at all. He should have done a lot better for the first goal. It was a real bobbler, that one. But there was odd bits where he was caught out. He kept parrying shots. I wasn't impressed with him at all. And I felt like Leeds could have had 3 or 4 more goals. Really, there was that shot, Aronson. I know he got his goal in the end, but I thought Aronson's interesting because he's really nippy, isn't he? Round players, and I haven't watched Leeds live for two and more years, but I just love watching them live. It's just like you can watch them and really see what technical gifted footballers they actually are, really. And I know Buller are as well because it's still the same sort of, it's still the same standard, but technically gifted, they are very good, and players who people bash like Aronson. He did very well last night, and he deserved his goal at the end. It was odd that goal at the end because I still can't see how the ball went into the goal.
It literally, even when you look at the replay, the camera angle wasn't as. It was Aronson, of course. It came off him. Tanaka just leaped it over the goalkeeper, and it went in. So I can't fault it. It was a great goal, great team.
It was. Oh, it was. I mean, I was just stood there and going, "Come on!" You just almost felt it was going to go in, but you just wasn't doing it. And then it eventually did. But it was a great again. Dan James, that through ball to Tanaka in the box. It was just exquisite. It was pinpoint. And obviously, Ayo didn't fancy himself to score himself, so he squared it to Aaron. There was Solomon in the area as well in the mix. But it was great after that goal, actually, because when Aronson scored, he went one way, and you could see Tanaka, he was celebrating by himself, and he kind of did a little kind of jump up and cheer by himself in the middle of the pitch, and he was like, oh, well, okay. But he didn't have the best, in my opinion. I thought he was a little bit sloppy in the first half, but he seemed to really get going in the second half. There was one or two areas where he just sloppy passed, or he got caught out off the ball, on the ball, man on kind of thing, and he wasn't quick enough to pass it off, and he got caught out. But generally, he's quite a silky player to watch, isn't he? And Rothwell as well, and also, Aaron, we've got to say as well, Ampadu came on as well at the end, and he's returning. So it all at the moment is really, really positive. And Jimbo says, it was nice to see Ayling back, as well. I'd forgotten he was on the bench actually as the game was going on, and he didn't obviously get on. But everybody was saying hello to him. And again, I said we were down there at the tunnel at the start of the game, and before the game started, and he was there signing autographs and and saying hello and asking how people were.
Luke Ayling is Leeds through and through, let's be honest.
Oh, he loves it. Yeah, he absolutely loves it. He was hugging everybody, all the staff members, and and he was having a little joke and a chat with like Bamford and people on the pitch as well before the game and all that. So he was well received as well. And it was good to see as well that Carrick had a little bit of stick thrown at him as well. So, which is only natural, which is good to see that people still remember where his roots are really. And that's not forgotten by, at all. But like Rich said, Aaron, Burnley, like we said, they can only draw. They can't seem to better our results. We beat both Derby and Borough. They drew. And like you said, Aaron, Derby on Saturday. Did you go to that one?
Yeah, I was there, and it's embarrassing, George. It really is, because when you look at with the 10 men, the way they were set up, though, and what gets me is that Leeds fans don't think Leeds fans were expecting to win 6-7-0 week in, week out, but when you're up against a very poor Derby County side they couldn't create a fart. Let's be honest.
They were really poor.
They just could not cope with it whatsoever. So, but it's like what Richard says there. We could have easily got 5 goals. But, George, you were going to lead me nicely on to this, but you talked about Luke Ayling instead. It's Tanaka time. Tanaka time, George. But first of all, you saw Tanaka. You think he was brilliant, as we all do?
Yeah, look, like I said, I thought he had a little bit of a little first half and into the second half, but he improved as the game went on. I thought he was a little bit sloppy at times last night, but generally he was very, very good. And I was wishing that he would have scored that last goal, but he obviously didn't feel confident enough to score. But then it was again, like I said, it was just one of them goals where you think, he's so close to the net. From where you're sat, you can't really properly tell what's happening. You just go on, put it in, and then he eventually did. And you don't know who did eventually, but then the guy says, it was Aronson. So, all right, fair enough. But no, Tanaka, I'm
Tanaka time, George. Come on. Tanaka time for the week. What's your Tanaka time this week?
Well, Tanaka time, I've actually got a few, Aaron, if that's allowed.
Only have one. Only one.
Okay, but nothing is, it's not about news or anything that I've seen regarding Leeds United. It's about a certain player, Aaron, of Leeds United. And it's Max Voba I want to talk about on Tanaka time today, Aaron, because he's caught my eye. Obviously, he scored on Saturday. We didn't expect him to pop up. A lot of people, including you must concede yourself, Aaron, you haven't been his biggest fan. Where do you stand on Woba now? Because when I saw him last night, to be fair, I wasn't expecting him to be such an imposing player. Like, he's a big bloke, and he's quite up and down on that left side. I'm just quite impressed with him, and I want to get yours and everybody else's opinions on Woba this week on Tanaka time, really.
Okay, well, my thoughts on Max Woba. Listen, Premier League, when we were in there, he came in and was probably arguably our best defender when we got relegated. So there's a quality Premier League player in there, dare I say. I still am in the very much, you forgive him, Max, but prove it on the pitch. I think the Middlesbrough game, the first one in the EFL Carling Cup, Carabao bloody John Lewis Cup, whatever it's called. He was shocking in that. It looked as though he didn't want to be there. But the key thing with Woba is prove it on the pitch. Do the right thing. Yes, he was unfortunate with the own goal yesterday.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm not going to say, he was very unfortunate. It wasn't his fault. It happens. And that's what being a defender does. There's always a risk where you try to head it back, but in the back of the net. Anyway, regardless of that, my opinion on Wilbur is this: prove it on the pitch, pal. I think his attacking, Derby, again, he twinkled toes in to score his first goal for Leeds. At the weekend, but the only way he could do it is on the pitch, like Brendan Aronson. He didn't get a warm reception from the Leeds fans at the start of the season, didn't Aronson?
No.
And they've got to prove it. And I think, dare I say, with Aronson, he's forgiven. I think a lot of fans are getting frustrated with Aronson, but I know it's not Aronson which you raised for Tanaka time, it's Warber. But yeah, do you know what? He's got to prove himself, and just when he gets an opportunity like he has at the moment, and he's going to get an opportunity now over the Christmas period, prove it on the pitch, do the right thing, keep your head down, put a shift in on the pitch, and prove us wrong. And that's my opinion on him, because he's a good player in there. He's an Austrian international player. He can, he's just got to do his business on the pitch, but don't come crying in January if somebody come in and say, well, let's buy him, and he goes. I'm not going to, like what Richard says, I'm not going to bloody cry if he goes. But ultimately just prove us wrong.
But I don't think he will go on because of the situation with like Firpo. I think they'll see him as he needs to start now, as because Firpo's injured. So I don't think anybody will come and get him in January. I think he'll be here till at least the end of the season. And I agree with you. Prove it on the pitch. But I think he has done over the last few games. Where has he not?
Yeah, but this is 2 games. Consistency is the king in the Championship.
Of course it is. But he's gone and scored a goal. All right, he scored his own goal. He couldn't do much about that last night. I actually thought it was Matteo Joseph. Like I said, I didn't think Matteo had a very good game. But Boba was unfortunate. He scored in his own goal. He scored in the right goal on Saturday. And I thought on last night and Saturday when he came in for Firpo, when he's come in before, didn't he? He came in for a short time before. I know it's only a few games, but for me, over those games, as short a sample size as it is, I think he's done all right, and I think he'll continue to do that. But I was very surprised that he's quite a physical bloke, and and he gets up and down the wing quite well, I think.
I think when you got to think back with Warburg is when he came in under difficult circumstances. He came in January, didn't he? When we were relegated from the Prem, and we were clearly desperate. we were desperate at the time.
Yeah,
but he came in. It's like, and it wasn't the ideal situation. So with Ruter, when we signed him, and there was a lot of emphasis on him to make that impact straight away, and it took him a little while. But I think with any new player at Leeds United, it takes them a while to find their feet. It doesn't always happen quickly. And I think that's because of, I'm not saying that the recruitment's bad this time, but previous regimes of panic bought and stuff like that. And it's taken them a while. Having that impact player, you're talking multi-million pounds, you're talking 50, 60 million quid to have an impact immediately. But it's, prove us wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like Richard said here, he was surprised that he kept Doak quite. Doak was the best player on the pitch. He's on loan from Liverpool. He was easily their best outlet for a goal, really. And he almost got one, but like I said, but for Melier, really. But he did. He kept him pretty quiet, and he was quite physical with him. And there was one point where he get to the byline, and he should have got a goal kick. The ref gave a corner, and I thought, come on, don't dive in there because it could be a penalty situation. But luckily, it wasn't. I mean, it's so strange watching it live, isn't it? It's like it's completely different because it looks so simple. To like, there seems a lot of space, Aaron, for the players to do what they like, and then suddenly the space closes in.
Yeah. But do you know what? With him though, George, with Warburg, prove us wrong and do it the right way. If you're going to go in January, then you know what? fine. I'm not going to. This can only be a good thing if he does go in January. If he's having these good games, it will boost up his transfer ability, and and get a few quid for him. Because let's be honest, what did we pay? 15, 16 million quid for him or something like that, whatever it was.
Yeah,
we're going to have to recoup that back and go from there. So
I don't think he'll be sold. I think he'll be kept on as as an important player for the squad now. Firpo's injured, but that's my Tanaka time. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Voba while he's had a decent couple of games, Arron, and and your thoughts. Really.
My Tanaka time this week is not Leeds related, as it never is, but it's the price of turkey. Not going to the country turkey, but the price of a turkey bird. Obviously, Christmas is upon us, and me being a tight-ass Yorkshireman, I've been looking at the prices of turkeys in Tasda, and it's absolutely bonkers that you have to pay over £35 for a turkey crown, which feeds between 8 to 10 people. £35 for some turkey is ridiculous. Bernard Matthews turkey slices are £1 in the freezer part of Tasda, and
you could just do that, couldn't you?
You can't just do that, just because it's
why
boring.
not?
It's not Christmas. I'm not serving my family Bernard Matthews sliced turkey bloody slices. It's wrong. And then you could go to the Toby carving, have a big bloody turkey thing, which is there, and it's it's easy. It's not, that doesn't cost them £35 for a turkey crown.
Ask the people in the comments, Arron, is it wrong to serve Bernard Matthews slices at Christmas? I don't know. Turkey's on the up. Get a duck. Get a duck. He says out to man.
Yeah, get a duck. Yeah, I'm not a fan of duck, Richard. If I'm being honest,
no, that's bad. Duck, no. That's
it's
bad
very
news.
fatty. It's not my cup of tea, duck. But what the Tanaka time for me is I'm moaning at the price of turkey in the supermarkets. Obviously, it's the run up to Christmas. Bernard Matthews is having a field day. He's robbing us blind by charging us £35 for a turkey crown when I can buy a roast chicken for £6.50. But yeah, I'm just annoyed at the price of turkey.
Yeah, do it. Get a cooked chicken for £6.50. No.
I will pay it. I will pay it along with my Christmas ham.
Don't complain then. Don't complain if you're gonna buy it anyway.
Anyway, that's that. So let's wrap Tanaka time up there. We've got a special quiz coming up as well, George, which a fan of the show has emailed us. I haven't fact-checked this. I'm just going to read it directly from the email. If you want to get in touch with us, it's talkinglufc@gmail.com if you want to email us. Thank you to Paul, who's given us our quiz for this week. So we'll be doing Paul's quiz with that one. So now then Colin and Clive. Now
we've got to address up a bit further up. Our Israeli friend has come back again. I mean, please comment again. You talked to us about, was it last week, Arron?
He did. Manor Solomon does not prove his abilities. Only 2 goals and 1 assist. In the championship, and at Fulham he scored 5 goals. Well, hello, young man or lady, whoever you are. I'm sorry, I don't have Google Translate on this software, which we use to give you this show live on YouTube. But I would love to know your name and where you're from. But I think it's Hebrew writing. Manor Solomon, then, because he's commented in with this one. Only 2 goals and 1 assist in the championship. I don't think he's been given enough time. He's had a couple of injuries, hasn't he? He hasn't had game time. George Solomon. I think he's good. I like him. He's got that quality. He's got that X factor ability. He can create something out of nothing, and that is something we've lacked this season.
I think given the opportunity, Arron, like a stringer, his problem is he keeps rotating the wingers, doesn't he? You've got Nonto James, you've got Solomon, and then you've got Ramazani. So you can't get a full lick in the team where he's going to get a lot of goals. Where, again, he always comes on. He plays every game if he's not injured, doesn't he? He comes on at some stage. And for me, he does affect the game. Again, last night I thought he played all right when he came on. He's very low centre of gravity, and he's a bit tricky. He likes to dance and do tricks with the ball, doesn't he, around the defence and stuff. But again, I quite like him, and he's a small man, isn't he, when you look at him? But you know, I think he'll do well for us this time. Give it in the second half of the season, give him a little bit more game time. But I think he'd just be happy if he gets another few goals. For him, I think this loan move is all initially about getting his fitness back. He had a horrible injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think as well, if we get promoted, I think he'll probably end up signing. So I think he would. Yeah,
I don't think it's stay around.
Do you not think?
The problem is, look at the wingers that we got. We can't promise him game time. You know, you've got Nonto.
No.
You've got Dan James. You know, you've got Ramazani. Do we need another one? Jack Harrison will probably come back if we got promoted.
Yeah, if we go up, we'll probably. Yeah, he probably will.
Then you're absolutely screwed then, because you can't promise him game time. I don't think Everton will buy Jack Harrison. You know, I don't know. You know, for me, I just don't think that he'd get game time, because I think I'm hypothetically speaking here, I think Dan James and Willie Nonto will be your starters next season, whatever league we're in.
I think they'll probably up on. They might get even more. You know, I know the January transfer window is coming in. There are sort of whispers at the moment of people who we're linked with, and there are forwards on the cards, Aaron, by the early knockings of the rumours. So, not the wingers, but strikers. So, you know, I would say that Manor Solomon, if we get promoted, would stay. You know about Jack Harrison, Aaron? Jack, he loves a loan move, doesn't he? I mean, he spent so long on loan with us. Now he spent 2 years on loan with Everton. You know, how long will he spend before he comes back? And imagine going back to
you've got to remember, he's under contract with us till 2028.
Yeah, I know, but
you know, he's got another couple of years.
Well,
we can't always go on loan, because
clearly you can.
Money which you've spent. No, but this season will not be another loan for Jack Harrison, George. It can't be, because it's a waste of the asset which Leeds United have bought. It really is.
Yeah, I think if we get promoted, Jack will come back, and whether the fans will take to him or not, I have no idea. But I assume they probably won't. But again, like Aronson, you said about Aronson, Aaron, he's proved that you can come back, you score goals, you do well in the team, and people will take you back in, and they have done with Aronson, I think.
But well, I think, you know, I personally don't think Jack Harrison will come back. I don't know. I don't think he would come back to Leeds.
I think he will.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, if they go up, I think he will. But then I think we'll have Manor as well.
He's living a dangerous life if he does that, because I don't think Leeds fans would ever forgive him.
Well, I think maybe, you know, dare I say that is, you know.
And do you know what? I'll tell you who else wouldn't forgive him as well, Daniel Farke. Because it's a massive insult to him.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, look, I think
it really is. If I was Daniel Farke, I would not want him there anywhere near that team.
No, so you go once, all right. You go twice, then I think you're done. Yeah, I think he's. I think, maybe they'll want to recoup and just sell him on. But then you think, why did
nobody will buy him because he's not that good enough?
Well, he's not playing anymore for Everton. I think he's slipped out of their team. You look at what Everton fans think of him, and they probably think the same as Leeds fans think of him. So, you know what I mean? It was a real shame with him, because he could have, if he'd have stuck around, you stuck around. You don't know how much of a quality he is really in the Premier League. He did all right, but it was always in fits and starts. And I think if he, you know, if he'd have dropped down to the Championship like he first came with us, I think he would have really done well, and I think he would have been celebrated like like the rest of them.
It's like what Clive says there. Nonto, Aronson, Warburton, those three, you can say, look, they're here fighting the cause now. Nonto, new deal, happy as Larry with him. Aronson is doing his business on the pitches. For me, he's one of the best players in the Championship at this moment in time is Brendan Aronson. And Warburton is proving it on the pitch, but Harrison, Nah.
See, I knew that Aronson would be good in this division, and I know he's struggled a little bit at times, but generally he's got 5 goals now with that one last night. That's not too bad. I mean, and like you said, a lot of the pundits saying it's a more rounded team. You've got to agree, really, and that's only by just looking at the way the goals are split amongst the team. We've scored 36 goals, I think, now in this season, which I think is the highest scoring team in the league.
And don't forget as well, with all that as well, the bench is incredibly strong, and you've got Gruev to come back as well still. And I think when you look back to last year, and I know it's a long-running joke now about Patrick Bamford, isn't it? But when you look at that bench now, even with him in it or not, it's still a strong-looking bench, so we can't really complain.
Not really, not at all, Aaron. I think we're in a good stead, really, and I think Bamford. I mean, touched on Bamford. I think he's going to go in January, and I think they'll bring in another striker.
Shall I tell you where Jerry thinks he's going to go?
Where's that?
Wrexham.
I mean, that'd be incredible, really, for them. To be fair, to go to Wrexham. I don't know. I couldn't guess where he's going to go, but I think he is going to go.
It's not a bad shout. That
it's not at all, is it? Really,
it's not a bad shout because it'd be a massive PR stunt for them. Ex-England international Patrick Bamford signs for Wrexham,
of course,
to get us into the Championship League One.
Yeah, it'd do well there.
Afford his wages as well,
Probably.
And do you know what? It'd probably tear up the division and probably
score goals. I mean, there you go. But I mean,
do you know what it'd probably do? We'd probably fire them to the Premier League, and we're still playing in the Championship.
Potentially. That'd be just Leeds, wouldn't it? But
Birmingham, they've spent their money, pal. They're if they don't go up this year, they're bust, pal.
No, I think they will. I think they will go up this time, but it might be.
No, but they will go. They will get thrown the financial. Absolutely smack their asses with fines.
They will. I mean, they spent all that money on that Stansfield, didn't he? But I mean, I think Bamford will go. I don't know where he'll go. I think Leeds will get another striker in, which will make even the bench look a bit more improved. But it is obvious, so obvious to me that we need a striker in January because Mateo Joseph had a poor game yesterday. He looked a bit half-assed for me, and I think
that with Joseph George, he's a young player. He's still developing. You look at the guys scoring great goals for the under-21s in Spain. Blah 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 blah. But replicating that in the Championship, it's completely different. For me, I don't see Joseph as the solution. Moving forward, we just need to sign an out-and-out number 9 because I think that's what we've been crying out for. Can you remember, George? This is going back a few years ago when we signed Patrick Bamford. That was the out-and-out 9 that we were crying out for. We were paid £7 million from Middlesbrough. Was it 2016, 17, or whenever it was? I don't know when it was.
I think it was 2018. I think it was 2018.
Whatever it was, basically. We were crying out for a number 9, and that is the last, other than Ruter, who really wasn't a number 9. He was something different, wasn't he? He wasn't a number 9. We haven't really signed a proper striker.
No, they haven't at all since Bamford. They haven't because Bamford's been it for all that time. So now he's coming towards the end of his cycle.
But George, I want to throw this into the works with a number 9. I think it would be easier for Leeds United to sign a proper striker and a proper number 9 in the summer. I don't think there's one out there now. Because then you can throw the money at it.
Yeah, you're right. But I think like you said, the team. I think we probably can't. We probably would be able to go until the summer and get promoted. I think without a striker, without another striker. But I think they really should go out and get one in January if they really can do because Perot is more of a physical presence than Joseph really, but. I think even then I know he assisted the James goal last night, but even he's not. I don't really think he's the answer to it. I think he can be a good squad player, but I just don't think he'll be good enough to start games regularly. And who knows what the heck he's going to be like if we get in the Premier League? I think that's that is just not really worth thinking about, to be honest, at the moment. I think like Perot, he might have to move him on, to be fair, if we get promoted,
Yeah. Okay. Right then, George, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for this. Well, it is Leeds United Trivia Challenge time. So, George, you need to cover up your comments so you cannot cheat. There we go. You've seen it live. No Googling. Right. So, George, this is coming from listener Paul from Leeds. Thank you, Paul, for emailing this into us at talkinglufc@gmail.com. 5 questions. And it says, the question for the show, please, tonight, gents, is before Dan James, who was the last player to score on their 100th appearance? And he's given us a quiz. It's 100 appearance
wow,
quizzes.
That's great.
So he's given us 5 questions.
Paul.
All based on the 100th appearance based. So here we go.
It was Dan James. Hang on now. It was Dan James' 100th appearance, was it, last night?
Yeah, for Leeds United. Yeah, it was his 100th appearance.
Fair play. Fair play.
Yeah. So, there we go. So, right then. So,
that might have been why he wanted the photo.
Maybe so. But let's guess the player who scored on their 100th appearance based on the clue I'm going to give you. This is Paul's quiz. So here we go. Question number 1. Which player is this? Number 1, Bielsa's favourite sub who now plays for Northampton.
It's Tyler Roberts.
It is Tyler Roberts. Well done, sir. Right, number 2, an Australian international who scored 4 against Liverpool on his 100th appearance.
Mark Viduka.
Mark Viduka is correct, sir. The next one is an Irish defender who liked to take free kicks.
Ian Hart.
Ian Hart is correct. Well done. This is a tricky one, this one. Played with his brother at Southampton.
Oh, man.
Come on, think about it.
Played
with his brother at Southampton, scored on his 100th appearance for Leeds United.
He played, both of him and his brother played for Southampton.
Yeah. I'll give you it. I know you can't see the comments from there, George, but Richard has got it right. Well done to you, Richard.
I don't know. Can't remember that one.
You're not going to get 5 out of 5 this week, George. Wallace, Richard got it.
Rod Wallace, yeah.
Rod
Wallace. Yeah.
Rod Wallace got it right. There we go. And then your final one on the quiz, Scottish player who also managed Leeds. Scottish player who scored for Leeds. My missus has just actually shouted it out and it's wrong. Sorry, love.
No, it's not. It's not Bremner. It can't be Bremner. Surely not Bremner.
No, it's not Gordon Strachan, love. Sorry, I'm just speaking to my
McAllister.
missus. Gary McAllister is correct.
McAllister. McAllister.
McAllister.
Actually, a shout for the my Instagram account, Arron, on the Beat of Peacock. I'm doing I told you about it last week, the advent calendar I'm doing. And each day I'm giving, watchers a chance to decide who goes on the next day. Gary McAllister was on whenever it was. I think it was Sunday, because he was number 8. Okay, yeah. What I'm doing is, the shirt numbers. Obviously today was Bowyer. There was Bowyer. Yesterday was Rafinha, and tomorrow I will tell you at the moment, Arron. Tomorrow is just a second. I will tell you in a second. Tomorrow at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll wrap up the quiz, George, while you're doing that. So that was your end of your Leeds United Trivia Challenge for this week. 4 out of 5, George. You're not a proper fan. You've got to get 5 out of 5. And again, thank you to Paul from Leeds who emailed that into us. And if you want to email us, you can do talkinglufc@gmail.com. Please do, Clive. Email it in. Please do, and we'll read them out and test George. So, Georgie boy, Leeds United play Preston North End on Saturday. Let's preview that one. George, dare I say, predictions for this one then?
Yeah, I mean, well, thank you to Paul initially. And just to answer your question, Aaron, before I do wrap up my prediction for the Preston game, it is Darren Huckabee currently who's leading on number 12. So he wore the number 12 shirt. The other options I put on there, but the other three options are Jaden Anthony from last season. There's Tyler Adams, not Tyler Roberts, and Lawrence DeBock, who also wore the number 12 shirt.
Bloody hell, George, you're scraping the barrel there.
When you get down to, numbers 12, 13, 14 and all that, you've got to scrape the barrel out. All the, desirable numbers are gone, all the defending, the fielders, all the strikers. Now we're kind of on to everybody else, really. So you are scraping the barrel a little bit. But
Lawrence DeBock was the worst thing ever to sign for Leeds United.
Well, I mean,
he was the supposed left-back solution.
People are getting excited, Aaron, because 26 votes have already gone for Lawrence DeBock.
Why?
Well, Darren Huckabee is way ahead on 62 votes.
It'll be
Huckabee. I'll be putting Huckabee on, I think, tomorrow.
Because Lawrence DeBock. Who's the other ones?
Well, Jaden Anthony and Tyler Adams.
Jaden Anthony is obviously at Burnley now. It didn't really work for him. Tyler Adams, well, he was useless for Leeds. He was constantly injured, so he doesn't deserve. None of those three deserve to be on there other than none of them deserve.
It's way out of topic, but what did you think of Darren Huckabee, Aaron? Because I couldn't really. I think you're a little bit older than me, aren't you? Just a few years. So you might be able to... I don't really remember Huckabee too well because it was around the time of like Viduka, and Smith, even Michael Bridges.
It was in and around that team. Yeah. Do you know, it did a shift for us. He was there for a year, 40 appearances, couple of goals, if I remember rightly. And then I don't know where he went. Did he go to Man City, I think? I don't know, but do you know what? He just did a shift for us. I think we paid about £6 million.
It was quite expensive.
It was big for us in Europe, if I remember. He was quite a key player.
Yes, he was, and I think he did. He was a good player, was Huckabee, and it was an expensively assembled squad, at that time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and he did fit in quite nicely there. Really, he went from us to he went to Man City, and he spent 3 years at Man City.
I think he got relegated with them.
Yeah, he might have done, because then he spent 2 years on two separate loan spells, and then he signed for Norwich, who he was on loan from as well. Spent a good time at Norwich, didn't he? Really. That's where I remember him from, really. Playing for Norwich. Loosely remember him playing for Leeds. But I think generally it's Norwich that I remember him at. So
it did a shift for us. That's all I can say. I wouldn't say I was bloody hell. It was great. It was.
Yeah, he scored 2 goals. I mean, you can't really say he was brilliant, but he was behind a lot of.
All I remember him is the European kind of adventures that we were on, and he was. I think he was quite key in those games as well. So, good player.
Yeah, well, he'll probably win my vote for the Advent calendar for day 12 of it. So, what an accolade that is for his time at Leeds.
With the bearded peacock Advent calendar, of course, it's brilliant. That's what he's wanted. I hope they're sending him a signed photo, a little laminated certificate. Thank you. You need to reach out and go, there you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I will, because what I've decided to do, Aaron, is put the shirt numbers on, the shirt numbers on the back. So I'm posting just the shirt numbers with the number, obviously the name and the number. So that's what he'll get if he gets one of them.
Well, you need to send it to him and a little picture of you.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be delighted. Please, stranger.
Funny. So go on then, George. Get your predictions as well in the comments, guys. If you want to get involved, you can. Give us a prediction then, George. For Saturday, Leeds United, they're away to Preston North End in the Championship. Another kind of big game for us to try and get on that run, which Richard said earlier on in the show. George, 12:30 kickoff live on Sky. Real opportunity now to get that bridge, build on that bridge which we've got over third place Burnley. So go on then, George. What we're thinking then, prediction wise for this one?
So we're playing them before. Are we playing them before anybody else? Then we're playing first.
Hang on. If you want a rundown of the fixtures, I can do. So in the Championship, Leeds. I think there's a game on Friday night. It is Derby Portsmouth. We're not bothered about that. Let's be honest. Nobody cares about that. In the Championship, there's a couple of 12:30 games. Bristol City take up QPR. Coventry are at home to Hull. Frank Lampard's Coventry City. Preston play at Leeds. So yeah, we play before the gang, and then I think Burnley play on Sunday against Norwich City, and Sheffield United are at home to Plymouth. That's an easy 3 point there.
Yeah, so I think we'll avenge it from last season. Surely the players that played last year, particularly Meslier with that silly red card, and the way that we played, I think there'll be more. They want to make amends for that at that round. It'll hurt them that, even though it was going on a year ago, Boxing Day. It was a really poor result. Melee was silly with what he did with that lad up front. So I think they'll want to avenge that, and I think they'll want to put that to bed. With Heckingbottom there as well, it'll mean a lot more to him than it will to Leeds. I think him personally, I bet he'll be really up for it, wanting to beat Leeds, but. Look, we shouldn't have an issue. I think we'll beat them 3-0.
3-0, George.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at a couple of comments which are coming in. Clive says 2-1 to Leeds. Richard says 2-0 to Leeds. Jimbo, Desmond 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw, Jimbo. I think it's going to be completely different, George. I think Leeds United will win this game at 1-0. And you know what? I'll happily take that so long as they get the business done. I don't care on that. We just need to bring 3 points back to Leeds from Preston. That's all we need.
Well, this is it. That's it, isn't it? It's an away game. I think home games you can analyse the performance a bit more, but I think away games it's more like it's going to be a slog. It's going to be. Yeah, they're going to make it difficult like every team does at their home ground. And we've just got to get away from it with 3 points. And that's all that matters, really, at the end of the day. It doesn't matter about performances so much away from home. Just get the 3 points and get out of there with the 3, and go and go what maybe clear again of Sheffield United before they play at 3:00 and put the pressure on Burnley again. So
absolutely. Well, good stuff. We will be back next week, George. Do you want to plug your channels?
Yeah, of course, Aaron.
Plug it before I plug this one.
Look, there's a bit of Peacock. You guys know it, don't you? It's my channel on YouTube and on social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Also, my Brazilian one with my brother, the Talking Brazil Ball. I will maybe do like a January list of Brazilian players or Brazilian-based players that we should be looking at potentially. But the Brazilian season is finished. So me and my brother only have one show left to do, and this is like an awards. Since we give out Manager of the Award and Player of the Year, Manager of the Year, that sort of thing. So that's the last show of the season. It's
hit it up with a like and subscribe, Talking Brazil Ball.
Yeah, hit it, like, subscribe it if you want to. You'll hear all about Brazilian football. Me and my brother James, we learned so much about it in the year that we've been doing it. So, yeah, do that if you want to. Like I said, the Brazilian season has just finished on Sunday. Botafogo won it. It was all, exciting times, but they've won it and it's finished now. So it's one show to go before the end of the season.
Quick one, George. Will you be choosing a new country to cover during the off-season of Brazil Ball?
No, so it's only Brazil Ball. We'll talk about Brazilian football. We'll have about a month off maybe, and then we'll get back to it. The season doesn't start till April, so we've got a few months. We'll take a bit of time out, then we'll research the new teams that have come up. We'll look at challengers for the title, relegation battles, this sort of thing. And that'll be that leaders on into the new season. So only one country we're looking at, but there are different ones that I am very much interested in as well, maybe in the future to cover. If anybody is open to doing that with me, then I will be open to offers.
There you go. Nicely. Yeah. Don't forget as well, we'll be back next week talking Leeds for number 17 of this one. Hopefully we'll be discussing a Leeds United win. But on this channel, you can stick around for the match reaction as well. Don't worry, Scooby-Doo don't feel very well. Mind him, I saying, yeah, listen, you can watch this all again. Or, as I was about to say, Scooby, you can stick around till 9 o'clock and watch me and Jerry do a match reaction on Middlesbrough as well. That'll be a good one to watch, which we're recording and then getting out on YouTube. So, George, we will see you, sir, next week, and hopefully talking of another Leeds United win. See you on the next one, guys. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.
Do it.